Hey, good evening, everybody. God bless you. Grace and peace to you. Hello. This is Archbishop Wayne, and I'm here with another episode, the last episode of the year of Disrupting Church. Last episode of 2020. How are you all? Thank you for joining me. Anybody who is here, I'd love to see who you are. Please reach out, send a message. And as always, if you'd like to join the conversation, just shoot me a PM, a private message, or DM me on Facebook. And I would love to invite you on to the show. God bless you all. Thank you for being here. Those that are giving hearts and likes and so on and so forth. I appreciate you all. Grace and peace, Brother Avon. How are you, sir? Minister Avon, excuse me. If you'd like to, again, join the conversation, by all means, just shoot me a message. I'd love to invite you in to join in the discussion today. Honestly, there's so much going on in the world. But today is this is the Sunday after Christmas, and this is the last Sunday of the year. If my calculations are correct, yes, the first Sunday is next Sunday. This is the last Sunday of the year, December 27th. So I just kind of want to start off by saying thank you to everyone. Oh, look, my teeth are like, whatever, green screen is looking funny. Anyway, I wanted to just kind of thank you all for joining me this year, and those who have been participating in the show. Seems to be a delay. God bless you. Hey, God bless you, sir. What's going on, sir? Thank you for joining me. I wanted to say thank you for supporting the show this far. This year has been a great year for Disrupting Church. If y'all can hear me, I hope you can hear me well and see me clearly. But this has been a great year for Disrupting Church. We grew quite a bit. Our reach was absolutely fantastically amazing. The show was reaching up to nearly 2,000 people per month before we took our little break. And so I want to say thank you so much. I appreciate all of you who participated, who chimed in, left messages, all that kind of stuff. You really helped us out, and I do it. Okay, good. God bless. Thank you. You guys really helped us out, and I appreciate that. And I'm grateful to you for all of you who participated in this show. I really do. Again, if you want to join the conversation, shoot me a chat here or shoot me a message on Facebook, and I'll be happy to send you a link so you can join me in the conversation. But today it's probably not going to be too much discussion outside of just a few things. But again, just wanted to start off saying thank you so much. God bless you. I love you. And I do appreciate all of you who have been here for the growth of this show. And I'm really looking forward to what God is going to do and what he has in store for the next coming year. Those of you who have been watching the show may understand and know that we have not done an episode in a couple of weeks, several weeks, because of a particular situation. My co-host, my friend, my dear brother, my co-host, Father Spiro, recently passed away. And so I was absolutely devastated. I called actually my brother on here, Avon. I called him and I cried. I loved my brother dearly. He was a fantastic person, just absolutely crazy. And he was loyal. And he supported me, and he had my back, and I appreciated that greatly from him. And so I honor him with going live again because he wanted me to continue the show. He would have wanted me to keep going. And so I will be in search of a spunky and a very matter-of-fact co-host to help me out on some of these Disrupting Church episodes. So I want to say again, thank you all for supporting us through that transition where Father Spiro recently passed away. And I look forward to continuing the legacy of the show and looking forward to continuing in some of the conversations that we had, just kind of disrupting church and to give people who don't understand what the show is about, who don't know what Disrupting Church is about. Disrupting Church is not really for the purpose of being controversial. I'm known as a controversial person, but that's not why the show got started. The show got started was ultimately the church as we know it as I know it, the church is a disrupting force in the world. It disrupts societies. It disrupts, kingdoms. It is a kingdom in and of itself that has the supreme ruler of the world as its leader, which is God. It is our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. And so that is what the church is. The church is constantly and consistently disrupting the norms of the world around it. The church is constantly disrupting the norms of the societies that it participates in. And if it's not disrupting those things, then the church is not doing its job. And so that's the initial purpose of the show, is to discuss things that the church is and should be participating in that will definitely ruffle feathers. That's what we do. That's what the church does. It is countercultural. It is counterintuitive. It is not based solely on this flawed sense of reason, where it's like logic and reason are not what rules the church in that sense. Don't get me wrong. Yes, we use reason and logic, but our leader is the Holy Spirit. He rules his church. The Holy Spirit guides us into all truth. And so that's who we follow. He'll lead us into the truth that is Christ. And so that's all we're here about. That's what we're here for. And that's what we are about on the show. The other part of that is sometimes in the world, the church. Hey, God bless you. Thank you for joining me. Greetings from Grand Rapids. Absolutely. Thank you for being here with me. God bless you. I love you and appreciate you. The other side of that coin is sometimes the church needs to be shaken up just a little bit. And I say that because the church is made up of human beings. The church is made up of people who are flawed, who are not, but are trying to become like Christ, and who are trying to become Christ in this world. And so there are things that we sometimes need to be shaken up on. If we've become complacent, if we allowed ourselves to become comfortable and participatory in society, or become participants in society, sometimes we need to be disrupted. And so the show is also here to disrupt the church, to make people kind of wake up, shake them out of their slumber, so to speak. So that way we can actually manifest the reality of God in the world around us. So that's what the church is. That's what the show is about. That's what we're here about. And thank you all for supporting us for these several months. Disrupting Church started early during the pandemic. And like I said, for the last couple of months, we kind of took a break just because my co-host passed away. And so there's been enough time in between his passing and now. And so it's time to get back to making shows and disrupting some things around us. And so we're going to continue to talk about controversial issues such as politics. We're going to talk about things in the church world that are happening. Some things people are not going to want to talk about, but these are the conversations that should be had. We're going to have those conversations in a very healthy environment, in a healthy manner, that are not demeaning. It's not about attacking people's positions, but honestly arguing, so to speak, or debating for the contending of the faith. So that way we maintain the truth of God. That's it. So again, I just wanted to kind of lay that out there for anybody who did not know. But those of you who are still watching, thank you for joining me today. So again, I wanted to just do this show in honor of Father Spiro, who is my co-host, who has since reposed in the Lord. I miss him dearly, and I am grateful for the impact he had on my life and on your lives through this show. It was wonderful to hear from his wife that said that he lived for our episodes. It was wonderful to hear her, proclaim that, to say that he got so much joy out of the conversations that we had and reaching out to the people of God and the world and those who may not even know God. He got joy out of getting on here and making a fuss about some of the topics that we discussed. And so that made me happy. And so with that being said, there's going to be so many episodes coming down now that the new year started. We're going to be dropping some episodes on a regular basis. We're going to go back to a schedule. So I'll be posting that very, very soon. I'm going to do my best to get my wife and some other people involved because I want other voices to be heard. I'm not here to just talk to people. Excuse me. I just had a big dinner, by the way. I'm not here for myself just to be heard. I really want to help people. So, and I can see that my numbers dropping now. So people are not that interested in hearing what I got to say. At least not tonight. It's a couple of days after Christmas. So go enjoy your families, have fun, get ready for the new year, whatever you have to do this week, prepare for the new year. God bless you. I love you. And I wanted to just make that announcement and tell you all thank you. I love you. This is the last episode of this year, but coming in 2021, we're going to come out strong with some content, a lot more controversial topics and subjects to discuss, not just for the sake of controversy, but to come to a place of agreement and understanding. So again, God bless you guys. I love you. I appreciate you all. And I look forward to seeing you and interacting with you on the future episodes. Have a wonderful evening, and I will talk to you soon. God bless. Who's that messaging me? Is that I might drop in? Oh, wait a minute. Somebody said they might drop in on me. Who that? Yeah, man. Oh, Bishop David Nunez said, let me know what you're going to talk about. I might drop in. Yeah, anybody's welcome. I want to be honest with you. Anybody is welcome at any time. I want to talk about things that are going to edify the body of Christ, that are going to bring people together. And my brother, like, you want to join me now? I'll send you an invite right now. Come on, brother David. Get on here. Bishop David, get on here. Let me congratulate you, man. Get on here. I'm sending my brother a message right now. Tell him, join me now. This is how we do it. We live and in color, in person. Join me now. Come on here, man. Get on here with me. I don't care how many people watch. Look, I love y'all. And if you join us live, great. If not, you can watch the replay. He said, let's do it. Give me 2 minutes. Oh, my brother's on. Anybody else want to join me? Come on. Anybody else? Evangelist De La Cruz, you want to join? My Minister Avon. Anybody else out there want to join me, please? By all means, I welcome you. This is an open forum. Shoot me a message on Facebook, man. Let's talk about some stuff because there's plenty to talk about right now. There's plenty in the world right now to talk about and plenty in the church world to talk about. So let me get my green screen straight. My kids broke one of my lamps, so my lights are a little funny. My background is a little funny, but we're going to get it right again. It's been a while. But I love you. I love you all. And I really am excited to serve you in this way. All right. So one of the things, I'm waiting for my brother to get on here, Bishop David Nunez. We're going to talk about some things. And we're going to have some subjects concerning church history because there are some conversations I've been privy to. And we've been talking about how the church operates today and the difference in the operation of the church between today and yesteryear, the first several hundred / thousands of years that the church was here, people are doing things very, very differently. And so we like to address those things for the sake of the body, for the sake of the people. My brother's going to join me in a minute, though. So I'm looking forward to this. Yeah, we're gonna talk about some stuff. Man, this thing got my teeth going out. See, my face is... I got to fix this. I got to get this right. My face is going all funny. Look at that. I disappeared, y'all. All right, let me see if this is better. Yeah, it looks like it's a little better. Jeff Turner left me a comment too somewhere. Hey, what's going on? Father Will Kane, you can join me too, man.
Not only has the American economy been imploded, but now the entire election process.
Let me close that out. Hey, guys. Yeah. So today is the last Sunday of the year, and we usually go out of, like, anybody here going having watch night service? Anybody watching me having watch night service? Do you do a watch night service in your church? A lot of people don't understand the origins of watch night, especially in the African American community for New Year's. Do you understand that? Can we talk about that a little bit? Because that's what we're about to do. Most churches are going to do some kind of close out the year for watch night. Do you guys know how Watch Night started? Put in the chat. Put in the comments. Yes or no? Do you know how Watch Night started? I'd love to hear your thoughts. Come on, y'all. I'm still on here. I was going to hang up, but yeah, Watch Night. Anybody know how it started? Put it in the comments. Put your guess there. Come on. Put your guess there. How did Watch Night start? Watch Night. Midnight, or going to the church and praying, having service until midnight New Year's Eve, or bringing in the new year in church on your knees. Watch Night service. Do you know where that started from? There you go. Thank you, my brother. Slaves getting their freedom. Emancipation. They were awaiting the Emancipation Proclamation that came at midnight. So how did this become a church tradition? Let's talk about that. How did that become a staple in the African American church community? Are we still celebrating things for the same reasons? Why is that still a thing? Why did that continue? Come on, y'all, talk to me. Let's go. Let's deal with some stuff, right? Like the church does a lot of church communities and church traditions do things. They don't know why. I'm wondering right now how many people did not know. My brother's on. It's about to get hot and heavy. Hold on, I'm about to add him on here. What's going on, my man?
How are you, man?
I'm blessed and favored, my brother. God bless you. Thank you for being here with me.
I'm good. I'm good. How are you? Hope all is well, man.
Yeah, man, all is well. I'm doing good.
Listen, I just wanted to drop by and say I love watching you, man, but it's not the same without Father Spiral, man.
I know, man. Yo, I gotta find me another Greek priest to get on here with and yell at me and stuff.
We sure will miss him, man.
Yeah, I sure will, man. I tell you what, that man added life not only on the show, but I mean, as a member of our communion, man. He, like, as a bishop, he's the type of, I'm like, Lord, there's so many other people in this world that it wouldn't have bothered me as much. I hate to say it like that, but it wouldn't have bothered me as much if they had been gone. And I would have been sad, but that brother was loyal. He stood up for me, man. Like he went to bat for me.
Yeah.
Like you don't find stuff like that all the time. You don't find people like that who are really like ride or die, regardless. Well, and we'll tell you about yourself when you're wrong.
We call that rare breed. Real
rare. Tell you about yourself. Now you run. I don't agree, Bishop, but whatever you say. And I was like, well, wait a minute. How does that work? That's it, man. Very few and far between, man. But
Christmas, man.
Yeah, Merry Christmas. Yes, God bless you.
Family blessings to you guys, man.
And congratulations. I see a staff behind you.
Yeah. I haven't used it yet, but
is that your Episcopal staff?
Yeah. I got that not too long ago. Well, I was supposed to get consecrated about 2 months ago, but with the whole COVID, things got postponed. So we had to postpone our trips to Latin America. So we have several places we got to go. 4 places, actually. Well, now 5.
Beautiful.
Now 5.
That's what I'm talking about.
Actually, when you started your show, I was in the midst of trying to look for the tickets, and because they're pretty soon, hopefully, my Episcopal, my consecration will happen soon.
Well, congratulations, my brother. God bless, man.
Taking it one day at a time, Bishop. That's all, man.
That's it. That's all we can do, though.
Yeah,
that's all we can do. But I brought up a topic today because, you know, in the Afro Latino environment, we do a watch night service. I don't know if you heard me talking about that.
Okay. No, I don't mind me, man. I seen you smirking. I hope this guy is not going to bring no political topics over here. I do not want to hear it.
No, I thought about bringing up Mr. T and Mr. B, but we'll leave them for another episode later on. I'm not gonna do it as the last episode of the year, you know.
Yeah. You know what's interesting, man? We did it. We did in most Latino churches. We do have watch night services. That's like a tradition for us.
Yeah.
What I did see last on Sunday was a couple of Latino churches celebrating candlelight services. I was very shocked and very proud. That's not very traditional in our Latino communities. I was very proud to see that.
That's good. That's a beautiful thing.
Yeah. A lot of sacramentality coming into our Latino communities. I truly appreciate that.
That's beautiful, man. And that's actually one of the things I was asking, because I got some comments on here. Watch night, I was asking people if they knew where it came from. And of course, some do. But the average church goer, the average Afro-Latino, whether it's Pentecostal, Baptist-costal, that type of vein, they don't really have an understanding. They just know, like me growing up, I just knew Christmas Eve we was in church. We were on our knees until, until New Year, the 12 o'clock hit. We got up, Happy New Year.
Yeah.
Preacher preached until the sun came up, and then we went out for breakfast. Like that was New Year. But most people don't know. A lot of people I speak to don't know why. And so it's crazy to me that we do things. We have a certain level of tradition, but we actually don't know why we do what we do.
Yeah, we don't question the ones that we do because we've done it for so long. But we question the ones we have no idea that other people are doing.
Right.
That's
right.
And that's just how we are. That's who we are.
Absolutely. And it's amazing to me because now we had a few people say, okay, slaves getting their freedom after emancipation. Someone else said, I just asked the same question last night, or Freedom Day. So I'm wondering, why are the churches today still celebrating watch night? If some of them have the understanding of the knowledge, are we continuing that watch night service for the same reason? Are we doing it in thanks and praise to God for the freedom of slavery? Or have we, in some way, shape, or form, adapted some sort of sacramentality where some are doing like those candlelight vigils and doing the evening services or the midnight services, like even on Christmas and New Year? So I'm wondering if that's like just an, we don't understand how.
Hold on. So watch night services are attached to slavery?
That's the origins of watch night service, my brother.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Because the slaves were waiting for the Emancipation Proclamation on December 31st.
That is amazing, man.
At midnight is when the Emancipation Proclamation came. And they rejoiced and celebrated the new year in freedom.
Wow.
So I'm wondering, how did that become?
I never questioned it, man. My mama told me we had to do it. And I was just going to do it.
That's what I'm saying. The same here, bro. Same here. So I wonder how many things are happening in our churches that people have no idea where they even started. They're just doing them, and not realizing that they've created their own sense of sacramentality.
Yeah. I've always had those conversations. I wouldn't say arguments, but conversations like in most Protestant Pentecostal churches, Latino ones at least. One of the things that I've noticed is we're very sacramental in our expression, yet, we reject anything that seems either Roman Catholic or et cetera, but we were very sacramental, extremely sacramental. So it's just interesting how we were kind of like controversial in that aspect. It's, like I was thinking this morning, I was listening to, I'm not going to say who, it was wonderful preaching, but I just don't want to mention their name.
Beautiful.
Wonderful preaching this morning. And when I came into this sacramental experience and holy orders, so I kind of just started rejecting. I guess it was more of my mentorship. My mentorship made me reject some of those Protestant things that just didn't make no sense to us who follow the ancient church or whatever. And, the Daniel fast.
Yeah.
How many churches do it?
Oh, tons.
I became very rejectful towards that. And one of the things I started praying during the sermon, and I was like, man, after such a traumatic experience with COVID and so many people losing their loved ones, whether it was to COVID or whatever. I lost family members. Just 2020 was just a
terrible, bro. It was ruthless.
A bad year. You know, I'm kind of feeling that whole concept of starting fresh and maybe having 21 days of just prayer and just leaving social media. And it just didn't seem like a bad idea to me. I don't know how you feel about that, but you know, like I just became very rejectful towards things that just didn't go with the ancient church. But then I'm thinking this morning, it had nothing to do with the Daniel fast, but the preaching that this wonderful bishop, I admire him a lot. When he was speaking, when he was preaching, it made me really reflect on my perception of some of the things that we learned in the Pentecostal church. And because we're a little bit more mature now in those aspects, we reject and kind of look at it as if it's immature or it's not really the way to go. But these were wonderful lessons that they taught us, man. I don't know if you agree with me or not, but I'm like, man, I'm thinking that I might start my year. I went through a lot this year. Lord have mercy.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So I don't know, man.
I agree. And you know, even in my current situation, just reconnecting. Like I'm doing a lot of assisting my father. I thank God for the opportunity to be able to return basically back to my foundations. You know, having at some point felt like I needed to separate myself from it, not realizing that what God was doing in me was for it, not exclusive of it. You know what I'm saying? And so that just comes with maturity and being able to accept the fact that I was wrong about something. Wow. You know, I haven't always been able to do that very well, but
you're confirming my feelings this morning, man. I felt the same thing.
Absolutely. Like as I get older, the more I spend time in ministry, I come to realize that nothing that God brings us through is at the expense of something else. So it's never to necessarily exclude. However, it's to get clarity. It's to help us to really like to have a fuller understanding of what the attempt even was. Because again, I'm not against watch night service. Don't hear what I'm not saying, you know, for anybody listening. My question is, do we understand why we're doing it? And then even if we have continued in it, what does it mean to us now?
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, so for the slaves and the years after slavery, that's what it meant. But now why does the church, are we really grasping the fact that we are here to celebrate the risen Lord, or who maybe even continuing in the Christmas celebration? Yeah. We just received Emmanuel. He's just come to us. Yeah. And now we're celebrating that this baby and his birth is now ushering in the new year. You know, like what are we doing with what we have? Are we allowing those things to, because I'm not against new traditions. That was something that I think many people who come through the ancient faith, much of the convergence and that paleo orthodoxy thing and all that kind of stuff, we often alienate ourselves. We separate ourselves
from anything that's new.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, oh, this is new? No, we're not doing that.
There's so much that's new, bro. It's just a lot is being put on a plate now. Like the church is just into a lot of new things. And you fall in love in your, I don't know if the same thing happened to you, but you fall in love with just going back and learning about these traditional things that kept the church alive, and it makes your spirituality even stronger and more passionate, that I didn't know as a Pentecostal. So when I came into what liturgy was and prayer in the mornings and liturgical prayers, et cetera, and the meaning of sacramentality, that it's not just, you know, it's not just a show, but it's a living off of a deeper meaning that's inside that no one can see. It's a deeper expression. And it makes it manifest in whatever rhythm you create in your daily life of spirituality.
Absolutely. Imagine
when
now.
I started learning what was in the wells of the ancient church, the ancient wells of the church, I was like, bro, I don't want this new stuff. I'm gonna stick with this.
Right. And all of a sudden, though, you start to realize that these people, what they gave to us was a well.
Wow.
because they didn't. They may not have had those other things because they just didn't. Now, don't get me wrong. My grandfather was a bishop. Where we came from, they knew about Polycarp and Ignatius. They knew about Cyprian and some of those fathers, but they might not have really been like, "Hey, let's get in depth
of that,
into the actual culture."
The
ethos of the church at that time. They just understood that they had these sayings and these writings, and so they may quote them here or there, but they didn't understand the or they haven't given themselves over to the vastness of all that there was.
Yeah.
So for me, looking back, understanding my grandfather knew who, like, one of his favorites was Polycarp. I'm like, you a Pentecostal bishop? What do you mean? Like, now that I know who Polycarp was, like, you knew about this guy, but they didn't often pass those things on.
Yeah.
They just did certain things. So now I'm in the place, like, getting to help my father out in his church and the ministry, sharing with him. It's like, why? Let's not just continue to do things because this is what we did. Let's find out why we're doing them. And if we're not doing them for reasons that are going to glorify God, then let's make that something. Let's not just continue in something because this is what we do. Sharing with my mom, I told her, I said, we have to be honest. First of all, I said, Pentecostalism is new. Like, in Pentecostalism, everybody's like, no new stuff. We don't want new. Y'all trying to modernize the church. I'm like, Pentecostalism is actually the modern thing. It is the modern thing, So we got to be careful. Like, we have to be watchful. Not to demonize the very thing that we should be embracing. And at the same time, those of us who are Pentecostal born and bred, who find out something a little bit more ancient, we don't have to just completely toss away the baby with the bathwater because now it's like, oh, well, Pentecostalism is wrong. Well, actually, it's not. It can't be if God is there.
You know what it is? I really love the aspect of the essence of what made the early church so genuine and so different from what we are seeing now is that the central aspect of everything was the table, and so at this table, everyone was welcome. It was diversity was accepted. There was no neglect happening, et cetera, et cetera.
Absolutely.
It was a community of different perspectives. And within those perspectives, it wasn't that they were embracing every theology that was happening in. They would contend, they would fight against heresy. But those dialogues would happen all the time. And so I think that one of the things we got to really work on as, us who are in as bishops of the church is you have something that not too many bishops that I follow on social media have. And it's this whole concept and thinking that because I'm a bishop, my opinion is right and we reject everyone who has a separate opinion. And I think that when you have this ability to open the floor, you're very controversial, bro, to the point where it's just, there's some things that I've embraced internally, and then when I hear you bring thought into it, I'm like, oh, that's thought provoking, bro. Like, maybe I got to see it from a different perspective. And I think that opening those dialogues, coming from the sense of the table of, let's just have conversations without disrespectful demeanors, without thinking that you know more than me or I know more than you. Let's just have
too easy. It's too easy. To me, it's too easy. But I think people are.
I think it's beautiful.
They're afraid of the loss of a platform.
Yeah.
More than they are about holding themselves accountable to truth,
to
righteousness, and whatever else. Because for me, I would be at a disadvantage to keep persisting that something is right, true, or whatever else, and someone else has information that says no, not exactly. Like, look at this from this perspective. I would be at a disadvantage, especially as a leader, if I were to shut out that information, because that might be the very thing that the people who are following me need.
Yeah. And we're leading in a different world from what it was when we grew up, man. You know, it was a lot of blind followers. Whatever the pastor said, bishop said, that was, if he said the sky was red, then we would say yes, it is, because
Right.
bishop said it was red. We're dealing with a lot of millennials and a lot of new thinking. I'm a millennial. I'm very outspoken, sometimes considered the rebel of the crew.
Yeah.
But when you deal with millennials, you have to be very, very secure of who you are. And I think that a lot of traditional pastors have to step out of that insecurity zone that they're usually in. You have to really feel assured of who you are. If God really called you, I don't mind saying, "Wow, I didn't know that."
No,
Thank you for adding that to my knowledge, my wisdom. I didn't know that. You know, I'll review, but see, I'm a millennial. I'll review it before I even agree. So I'll say, I'll look into that.
Right.
Once I look into that, I'll call you and be like, Bishop, you have no idea. I've just opened up this. You've opened up a can of stuff that I didn't even have no idea this existed. And
right,
I'll look into it. I'll buy books and this and that.
Yeah.
Because that's the millennial thinking. We want to review what you've said. We're not just going to take your word for it. We really want to confirm that this is what it is. And we'll even look deeper into that. So the knowledge will even stretch even more than what the person provided. But I'm very secure with my own knowledge and wisdom. If I'm very open, and I've always said it, I don't know anything.
That's right.
I don't know anything. The more I know, the more I know, the more I find out that I don't know nothing.
That is absolutely crazy. And that's one of the things that for me, my wife just came down there to give me a beautiful message. Love you, dear. I decided in myself that I was not going to be like I experienced a lot in ministry. Young in ministry. I experienced a lot. And there are some things that once I moved beyond those experiences, I told God that I would never do those things.
Yeah.
So I will never treat people this way.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I went through that. I won't go into it, but
No, absolutely. I'll never treat people this way. I'll never say these type of things. I will never behave like that. And it has caused much turmoil, heartache, and struggle because of the fact that I did not behave in that way. I could have cut people off and shut stuff down and all that kind of stuff. But I made myself available to the point to say, let's have a conversation. And I'm willing to admit that I'm wrong. If I'm wrong, I'm willing to admit, hey, you know what? I didn't see it that way. I'm wrong. Forgive me if I did this or did that.
You just said something that I literally was having a conversation just a few days ago with my brother about. The same thing happened with me. There were things that they did unto me that it truly caused me trauma. And I said, I would never, ever in leadership would treat anybody else like that. But there's we got to be very careful with that. You have to have a balance in that thinking. So you can't step away from authority, but not be authoritative in the sense where you hurt people. Because, bro, I don't know if you've gone through what I've gone through. When you have that thinking of I will never deal with people like that, wow, you suffer a lot. It's the nice people that suffer the most. When you truly love people and you don't have this demeanor of I'm bigger than you, I'm your leader, and check people when they need to be checked. Wow, you get stepped on so much.
Yes, sir.
So you got to have a balance with that as well. And so it's hard for me. It's very hard for me to step into that leadership zone and correct when I need to correct, because I fear, and I'm still being healed day by day by some things that were done unto me. If I'm here today, leading churches in Latin America is because of God's grace, because I thought I was going to be done with the way I was treated at some point. So
absolutely. Same here. I was like, you know what, Lord, if this is what this is about, I'm out. And he was like, nah, not so much. Not so fast. I got something for you to do. I got some people I need you to deal with that are still going to treat you like trash. They're not going to receive you fully or whatever.
Yeah.
It's part of the course.
Ain't nothing going to change. It ain't gonna change. If you would be polite, things would change. No, it ain't gonna change. It ain't gonna change.
No,
it's gonna change.
However, I do have a MO now that I know for a fact that certain things You have to close them off, and you know, I don't have to be mean about them. I don't have to be, disrespectful, whatever else. But it's just certain things like, nope, I'm the leader. We're gonna shut it down right here, and that's that. You can argue if you want, but I'm not arguing with you. I'm not doing all that. So it's definitely, interesting territory when you're, especially now, because we are not the future anymore. We are present. Like, I am a bishop now. I'm not waiting to be a bishop in 10, 15 years.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, this is happening now, and we're still young. Where the bishops that were before us, like my grandfather and the bishop of the movement I grew up in, they were in their early 30s when they were made bishops and they launched their movement. I'm older than both of them. I've been in ministry longer than both of them they were when they started their ministries. I'm realizing we're here. When we start talking about the future of the church, I'm looking at my kids and grandkids at this point, because I'm it. Yeah. You're it. Like, so if anything is going to happen in the church world, if anything is going to actually have any longevity, we are the ones that are now on the wall to preserve or establish those things.
Yeah.
It's not somebody else. It's me.
It's funny because I always think like that. I think about the future, and I don't think of myself as the one who's going to be here. I always think of myself, no, I'm only here to prepare someone who's going to lead after me. Mm-hmm. So I'm always thinking about that. There's something that I really struggle with. Lord, guide me and let me know, who do I need to prepare? Because preparation takes time, man. And so I'm not afraid of stepping away from something. And I think that that's what hinders a lot of leaders, is that fear of stepping out, that leaves sometimes a lot of ecclesial circles without leadership because they've never prepared the next person to come up.
Absolutely. And we've seen a lot of that in this last season, is that
you've seen that, right? That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, and because there's a whole slew of people and bishops and apostles and so on that have been called home.
So many giants, man.
And now people are literally fighting and scrambling.
Yes.
Oh
my God, bro.
To be the next in line. Like,
so much bickering and fighting, bro. I didn't even, you brought that up. I didn't even say anything.
I told you, I'm controversial, not for the sake of controversy, but for the sake of revealing. And
that's insane, man. That really hurt my heart. I've seen so much this year. I'm like, wow, a lot of fighting back and forth just because, well, this one died. Now I'm stepping up. Just sad, so sad.
And there are several leaders who did not have someone coming behind them. They didn't train up
no
to actually pass on the ministry or the work to.
There wasn't a plan.
Yeah, and I think that had to do with the era. There was an era of preachers that were very evangelistic. That was the evangelism of the crusades, the revivals, and they were just out there preaching the gospel. People followed them. They started churches, and they didn't really have the concept of continuity in the church because they weren't given something. They had to go start their own.
You know what's crazy, man? Shoot, I don't even know if I'm supposed to speak on this.
Go ahead. We are disrupting church.
You know what really shocked me, man? Even before the whole COVID thing happened, a lot of my bishops came in together, and they're still coming together in the Communion of Evangelical Episcopal Churches, and they're grabbing young men like me, like other priests, etc., canons, and they're dedicating their time to prepare for the next generation. I've never seen something like that before. I think that a lot of churches have to take that model, man.
They have to. What do you think about this? It says succession plans are lacking in the Black church.
I'm going to step away from that. I'm going to step away from that answer because I didn't really grow up in a Black church.
Okay.
I've helped here and there, so I'm not really familiar with the culture. So if I'd be talking about the Black church, I'd be a hypocrite because I'm not. I'm just Black because I grew up with the Black community. But a lot of the Black church, the culture of the Black church was very, once I started helping Black churches recently in the past 5 years, it was a culture shock for me. The Pentecostal church, the Latino Pentecostal church, has a lot of similarities as the Black Pentecostal church, but there's a lot of differences as well. And so I've really dedicated myself in these upcoming years to really learn more and more about the Black church.
Good.
But I listen to a lot of Black preachers, but that doesn't mean that I'm familiar with the Black culture of the church, the culture of the Black church. Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, I will say I agree. Depending on what organization you're a part of, the larger organizations have something like that in place. Like Kojic, you'll never see Kojic go for long periods of time without having someone else placed in either a church or an episcopate. Like if somebody passes away, somebody else is going to be made a bishop.
Oh, they have a plan?
Yeah. But those are usually the larger organizations. And somebody said, yeah, not intended to be slight. This is something that brings maturity and should be taught on. I agree 100%.
Oh, yeah, of course.
I agree 100% because, like I said, the larger organizations have things like that in place. Some of them, not all, because I knew of one organization, the archbishop passed away, and everybody thought they were going to be the next archbishop. And when everybody who they thought were going to be it didn't get selected, everybody went their own ways.
Yeah.
All of the other bishops and stuff split it. They went their own ways because they thought this one I would be this and so on and so forth. So even if there is a succession plan in place, in a lot of African American culture churches, the people don't even agree with the succession plan. They'll leave.
Yeah. Same in Latino churches.
So it's a matter of the culture of honoring the leaders.
That's exactly what I was going to bring up right now, Bishop. I think that, and you mentioned it in your earlier comments, and this is just something that I want to leave off to these young ministers who are rising up, especially millennials who are looking into holy orders or are in our priests, deacons, whatever the case may be, and they're emerging leaders in the church. Understand, man, it's so easy to point your finger at some of these leaders. Let's bring honor to them, man. This COVID situation has really brought so much shock and hurt to us with the loss of so many giants. Let's really bring honor to some of our leaders, regardless of so many negative things that we can say against them.
Absolutely.
Let's bring honor. And I mean that in the most honest way.
Yeah, I agree 100% because, it's very easy to get into the like you said, the pointing fingers and be like, oh, they didn't do this, they should have did that. But the reality is they did what they knew to do.
Yeah, Bishop. I mean, you've how long have you been in the episcopate?
2016, 4 years.
Oh wow. So I'm pretty sure that you're aware of, once you become a bishop, you pretty much, I don't know if you're come from a movement that's very autonomous, in the sense of they allow you to kind of construct your jurisdiction as far as how God leads it in the context of, how context is very different depending on where the jurisdiction is placed on. And so we come from a very traditional Anglican tradition background. And so in the Anglican tradition, the jurisdictions, the context is taken into place. Latin America is very different from the US. And so I can easily reinvent the wheel in many ways and shapes and forms. But one of the things that I've said is, I'm not neglecting the context of Latin America. I've embraced some of the things that I'm not even used to in my own expression of seeing in faith. Latin America is very different. The culture is very different. They come from a strong root of Roman Catholicism, bro. It's very, very rooted into that. And so a lot of people would even look at some of my churches and think I'm Roman Catholic. They don't understand that Latin America is really rooted into that. But one of the things that I've shared with Latin America and the churches, I have about 8 jurisdictions now that I oversee. And one of the things that I share with them all the time is, let's not reinvent the wheel. Let's go back to the essence of what the fathers of this communion have wanted to see. So if let's really hear the heart of the fathers, because I truly believe in that verse that says that God will return the sons to the heart of the fathers, and the fathers to the sons, et cetera, et cetera. And so I don't know, man. I repeat the same thing, and I'm hearing from God the same thing that you're hearing. I think that I want to go back to that essence of maybe honoring my fathers, honoring not just the bishops, but my mother, my father, who are in ministry doing their own thing. I kind of want to head into that as well. I'm very, very busy doing my own thing, but I don't want to let go of helping them along the way and in their journey.
And I think that's key. And I think the leaders that God is there's two schools that are raising up right now. One school is I'm gonna do it my way because the way that they did it didn't work for me.
Yeah.
And then there's the other school that, like myself, I believe I'm in this other school where, like yourself, is like, I wouldn't be here if it weren't for them.
Exactly.
And so my goal is not to undo everything they did.
Yeah.
My goal is to now bring what they established into perfection. Not to say it didn't work for me, so I'm going to just get rid of all of what they did. No, that's not how this works.
Yeah.
It's actually to say, let me find out what was their intent and their purpose in doing this.
Yeah.
And let me buy into that vision and then make sure that vision comes to fruition. Make sure that work comes to perfection.
Yeah.
Because they didn't get to finish everything.
There you go.
Because even then, I remember the bishop I was under as a kid. He said, he would always say, I don't have no help. I'm like, you got mad ministers in this church. Like, what do you mean you don't have any help? But now being a bishop, I understand.
Wow.
I understand what he was saying when he said he didn't have any help. It wasn't that there wasn't people there present. The fact of the matter is that nobody had a heart for the vision like he did.
Wow.
And trying to get people to buy into the vision was like, it's like pulling teeth to get people to buy into what you're establishing, so that way they carry it just as strongly as you carry it. Yeah. That's not easy to do. So I can understand how the leaders could feel like they were left without proper help. And that in itself is an extension of why there were no succession plans in place. Because to them, they felt like nobody was qualified or nobody was able to actually assist me while I was alive, who am I putting in place to take over after I'm gone.
Yeah. Yeah.
I see a lot of that. I see a lot of that. So I'm in the mindset of, you know what, Lord, that's why you had me return or to find this ancient thing.
Wow.
You know, you had me find this ancient thing so I could understand what they were really trying to accomplish. Like it's all starting to make sense to me. He said most aspire to the office, but not to pick up the mantle of the Spirit. Man, that's a word right there.
Yeah.
That's a word, because there are so many people who they think, okay, he was a bishop and people around the city, the town, whatever, they knew him and he was a good name. And so now they want that part without the actual work that it to get there.
That's facts.
I'm like, yo, we hustling. We doing, like, as far as a young guy, not at 40 yet. Glory to God, I'm on my way there. But to have outreach ministries, to have done homeless ministries, to have, I've owned properties where we gave people places to stay who were just getting out of jail.
Wow.
And who had nowhere, like they let them out of jail with sandals and shorts on in the middle of winter, and we had somewhere to put them.
Wow.
You know, with people who were hungry or who didn't have jobs, we actually had something to, here, come work here. Here's some food, because I owned a restaurant for a period of time. We were able to do those type of things. To me, that's the work. Like, get into the work. Don't worry about the position. And I tell people that, because I am young. Oh, you only got to be a bishop because this, is that, and the third. And I'm like, you have no idea what I endured on my journey to here. I may be young, but I went through a lot in a short amount of time to get to where I am. Same as you. No way you become people don't just become, I mean, yes, you can in some circles, you can just buy your way into the episcopacy. We already know that that's a heresy. You know, you can pay somebody enough money and they'll write up paperwork and they'll lay hands on you and so on and so forth.
And you got to understand this, especially in my position, not just what I had to endure, but the Episcopal position that I'm stepping into is it's not a desirable one.
No, it's not.
When you look at these third world countries, you're really being of support and help. So in reality, I'm being consecrated as a missionary bishop. I have multiple I can have multiple jurisdictions, and so in that sense, you're not getting anything from this.
Right, you're not coming into something that's established.
You're giving your all.
Yeah.
You're giving your all. I'm not going to sit here and say anything. That's not I don't do that.
Right.
But let's just make that clear. You're giving your all, pretty much. Just put it like that.
Absolutely, 100%. And I think, and that's when we have people with that heart and that mindset coming into this Episcopal or even the presbytery office of a priest, understanding their role in the community as a father, as someone who is giving and not getting. Period. The game changes, man.
Yeah.
The game is and I say the game, but it is very different for those of us now. And like I said, there's these two schools, and we're actually battling against other millennials and Gen Zs or whatever else, like our own age, who are on the opposite spectrum, who are like, I'm trying to do away with any and everything I can to start something fresh and new.
Yeah.
And so we have that double thing to contend with, that not only the struggles we have in ourselves, but then those around us, our peers, who are like, I'm not on that boat. I'm on a whole nother plane.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a struggle. But I signed up for the journey, not because of the perks in a sense. I didn't sign up because it was good pay. I signed up because my Lord called me to it.
Yeah, it's interesting because when I came into this, into holy orders, not the episcopate. So I was supposed to be consecrated. They have brought it up maybe like 4 or 5 years ago. And so they continued because I needed more progress in the academical aspect.
Okay.
Which I truly appreciate. The person that I had as a bishop, he don't play no games.
Academics, right? Yeah.
Yeah. You need to be on point with that. And so I truly appreciate that aspect of my formation. But I remember when I stepped into my priesthood, I started formation, and as a Latino, I started seeing that a lot of the resources for ancient church wasn't being offered in Spanish literature. And that bothered me. Yeah, listen to this. That bothered me. And so I brought it up to my bishop then, whom I still consider a father in the Lord. I said, I can't believe there's no literature. What's going on with our Latinos in the third world countries? Listen to this, bro. I didn't know where I was heading. And I'm bringing this up. It bothered me. And I prayed about it. And I would spend nights. I wish my bishop would be here, man, my presiding bishop. He could tell you. I spent nights without sleep translating resources just so that I can teach my clergy.
Man, that's crazy, bro.
Who would have thought that I was going to be a missionary bishop for Latin America? That was never brought up in our conversations. So let me say that. I say that to say this, bro. Nothing that wakes up. When there's a small fire in the heart, God deals in such tremendous ways that you can't even describe. I don't understand how so many people are like, well, God called me to be a bishop. Man, I didn't even know I was going to be here. Pay attention to the moment and the process, man. Sometimes we avoid the process and we just want to jump to conclusions. Allow the process to take place. He knows where he's guiding you.
That's right.
That's all it is. He knows where he's guiding you. I would have never thought that I would have been in this position now.
Same here.
And that's how I started as a priest, caring for the formation of Latinos, et cetera, et cetera. I come back, and that's where wow, it's just, it amazes me how God just leads you. He knows what he's doing.
He sure does. He has ordered our steps, man. He definitely has.
It's crazy, man.
I love it, man. I love it. And I think that if we God bless you, grace and peace. God bless you. Thank you for joining us. I don't know who that is, but God bless you. It's not showing up on here. But yeah, so it's one of those things that I think that if we continue in this way and we pass it on to those, like, really try to educate our peers on participating in it with this mindset, I think that we can, especially in America right now, we can start to shift things in the world, especially, I say America, but the Western hemisphere as a whole, America, Latin America, going up to Canada, like the whole thing. Because what we see happening around us is absolutely terrible. It's terrifying, but I believe that we have the right generation right now for the time. As long as those who came before us are willing to impart and are willing to release and are willing to pour into, I think that we have a chance of really turning things around over here and not falling prey to the whims and the wind blow of society, so to speak. I think that we're in a good position if people like yourself and myself stay together, stick together, support one another.
Yeah.
Yo, I'm not mad that somebody else is a bishop. I see people get mad. Oh, we got too many bishops. And I'm like, you see how many people around you are saved? I'm sorry. I get the idea that there's too many bishops and apostles, or there's too many people. Yes, I believe that we're not doing a great job at forming people, or even, for lack of a better word, vetting in that sense. I think that there could be a better job done. But as a whole, until the whole world is saved, there's not enough. There's not enough.
Yeah, I just... When I took on this responsibility, I'll leave it at this, but when I took on this responsibility, I see things so differently now. Before I would get bothered.
Yeah.
I'm too busy.
See?
I'm just doing too much, man. I don't have time to be bothered by those things now.
Right.
And I think that when we are not busy doing, we get bothered by those who are doing. And I think that we fail to see ourselves in the mirror. I think that's what it is.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. You got people to care for. You ain't caring about other people's.
It's just, we're too busy. We're too busy to even think about that. And it's the reality. I'm not neglecting the reality. There is a big reality out there. There's too many people rising up, calling themselves things that they're not.
That's a different story.
Prepared and equipped to do. That's a fact.
Right.
It's a sad story, but unfortunately, it's lack of fatherhood and spiritual fatherhood and presence involved in mentorship and formation. And some of us are just giving titles away like it's candy. And so we really got to, again, my perspective is more of embracing the process. Process is just so beautiful, man. And just embracing the journey of suffering and joy, preparation. When you learn how to wait, good things come to those who wait, man.
There's a reward in waiting.
It's just amazing, man. I'm just so grateful, bro, for what God is doing with you, with me, with everyone who's watching. We got to learn to wait. That's all.
Absolutely. Last words, man. What do you hope to see in the church in 2021? Worldwide, anywhere, in your church and abroad.
In my church and abroad, I think my desire personally, what I would love to see in everyone else and in myself is what's happening right now. I ride or die for my communion. I love my communion. I love our fathers in the communion of the evangelical Episcopal churches. One of the things that I've embraced from them and their vision is their openness to see unity in the body of Christ. And so I think that we have to strive more for that. We suffer so much, leaders, priests, bishops, deacons. We're just ministry is a lot of suffering, especially with everything that has happened recently. So many of us have done things that not too many people are seeing on Facebook. More than just preaching, more than just, some of us are giving the last dollar that we had. And so when it comes to that, let's be of support to one another. Let's help one another. Let's not just help our circle. Let's leave our circle and learn about these other communions and other movements that are doing great and wonderful things. And
Amen.
Let's just join together as a body of Christ and do better for the kingdom.
Amen. I love that.
Yeah.
I want to see the same thing. I want to see, I hope to see a larger movement towards these communions coming together and actually not paperwork, not just papers saying we're in communion or we're
make me smack my microphone.
not just a bunch of
communion, but real communion.
Real communion, where even if we are in the same region, let's come together and let's pool our resources and let's be the church visible.
Yeah.
Somebody said that, amen. Tribalism has hurt the body. I agree 100%. And I want to see that. I think that 2021 is prime time, especially the after effects of COVID and all of the things that are going to be coming down the line because of that or after that. I think that it's prime time for these communions to stop with the paperwork and stop trying to play like we're going to do this thing. No, let's literally come together. Let's serve at the table together. Let's sit at the table and eat of the Lord. Let's pool, like I said, pool our resources and be able to do something in our communities rather than trying to have get a pat on the back saying our church, our communion did this versus saying, look at what God has done in this region. Look at what God has done in his church, in this city, in this county, in this state, and so on and so forth. That's what I'm hoping to see it happen. And I'm doing my best. Like I said, I'm talking with yourself, Archbishop Russ, and I started, hey, God bless you, Apostle Ross. That's what that is. God bless you, sir. I'm talking to him. I'm talking to several others in other communions to say, listen.
Oh, you've engaged with Archbishop Russell McClanahan?
Yeah.
That's good, man. He's a wonderful dude.
Yeah, I
love that. I love that guy, bro.
We in talks, and I'm trying to make stuff happen. Like I said, more than
I love that guy. I love that guy.
I don't want paperwork. I want to come to you and hug you, and we put on our stuff, and we stand at the altar and we celebrate the feast of the Lord together. You know what I'm saying? Like, I want us to be able, hey, what's going on in your area, in this region? Which one of your churches can I come to the rescue and help? What do y'all got going on? Y'all got outreach programs? Cool. We sending a team down. I'm talking about real life ministry coming together and nobody like, oh, this is my church, this, and man, forget it. Let's just go and let's be the church of Jesus Christ in the world so that people will come to him. That's it.
That's it.
I mean, if we can make, and I think the stage is set. And now it's on us.
Yeah.
The younger leaders, it's on us to start making those things happen. Because granted, the fathers are not getting around as much. They're not as tech savvy as we are. You know what I'm saying? Like we're kind of spearheading a lot of things, but I think that we are in the prime time, location, and everything in history for us to be able to say, listen, I think we can close these gaps that we're here and start making this thing look like one church again, for real. I want to see that. And I'm going to be purposefully working towards that in 2021 myself. I think, it took this year happening the way it did for me to realize that there was a lot of vision and focus and things that was just misplaced. I had a lot of attention on things that really weren't like, wait a minute, there's so much more I could be focusing on. There's so many better things I could be focusing my energies and my time on that I'm gonna do that. And it's specifically coming together with other ministries to actually accomplish the work of the Lord. That's my goal, man.
Yeah, same here.
Granted, we have our churches. Like you said, we're busy. we are busy. We got churches, I got jurisdictions and pastors and bishops and such. We are busy trying to plant and educate and form and all of that type of stuff. But we can't, that's not ministry in its totality.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that itself is not ministry. That's like education, continuing education. Like I said, the formation. The ministry part is when everybody that we're educating gets their gloves on, their knee pads on, and we hit the ground. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm looking forward to.
Yeah. It's been wonderful, man. Bless you.
God bless you, man. I'm have next time I'm gonna have you on. We're gonna talk about Trump and Biden.
I see you, man. Bless you.
We're gonna talk about this stuff that's going on, man. I love it. No, I love you, my brother. God bless you, man. Have a wonderful evening. Give my love to the family. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and I look forward to connecting with you some more in this coming year.
Same here. Bless you, man.
All right. God bless you, man. Hey, everybody. Thank you. God bless you all for being here with us still. Those who join us. He said, don't start. Why not? You know what this is about, right? You know what time it is. When Disrupting Church is on, nothing is off limits. All things will be talked about. No, but I love you all. I appreciate you all supporting us this year. And thank you for keeping me in your prayers. Keeping Father Spiro's wife and his family in our prayers. Let's have a fantastic year with Disrupting Church. God bless you. Have a wonderful night, and I will talk to you all on the next episode. This is the last Sunday. I'll put out the schedule, let you guys know when we're going to go live. All right. God bless. I'll talk to you soon.